Okay, so I scratched my first take of this video because I realized that I was trying to sell something. I was trying to sell you guys or myself an idea that there's a way to fix things and there's no other way to do it. But I realized this is a space where I can just reflect, look at my life, and not really bring answers to the problems, but just bring them to light and kind of give some thought about that. So I was on my way home from work today, and right now I'm working a 24-hour work week. And I thought to myself, how many work weeks would it take at this rate to match the amount of hours I put into Destiny 2? And then I checked my stats, and I'm coming up on 200 days playing this game, which is crazy to think about because to answer my question, at that rate, that's 400, or not 400, that's 4 years of a 24-hour work week. That's crazy. It's 200 weeks. And I know a lot of people too who have much more hours than me on this game. I'm on I'm like 12th out of 36 on my friends list for hours spent playing this game. And I know it's a good game, and I'm probably not going to stop playing it unless it goes super far downhill. But that's still insane. And I realize I need to shorten my time playing this game, especially if I'm going to decide to play games with all my other friends. And now I have a job since I'm off college, and even then I have more free time than I did at college. But I really just need to, actually I don't know what I need to do. Like I said before, I just kind of want to talk about it. And it's just sad to see that I spent so much of my time playing this game and others when I could have been doing much more productive stuff. And I'm afraid that's going to come back and bite me someday. In one way or another, or several. But it's kind of worrying. And I don't know. I'll just take this moment to appreciate, like, there's so much beauty in this game that I just pass over when I have my display turned on. And it's kind of nice to soak it all in, not chase any missions, and just look around for a change. I like it. And I also spend only like 20 minutes playing when I play this way compared to trying to grind out a strike or do an LFG raid, which we all know takes an insane amount of time. And I'm missing all my shots. There we go. That made up for it. But like I said, this just takes not nearly as much time. And I honestly get more enjoyment out of it. Like, this is really cool. And coincidentally, I started this before they announced it, but I think it's going to be cool that they're adding one of those modifiers, I think, in, I forget what it's called, those single player missions that they're adding in Edge of Fate. There's a option, like, for increasing difficulty to just turn off your HUD, which is cool because I already kind of started playing like that, and maybe I'll get a head start on it. But I think that's going to be fun, and hopefully that mode will open more people's eyes just to playing the game differently and looking at it in a different light. And another thing that's been on my mind is just the uncertainty of our future. I know I was talking about it to my one friend, and I know a lot of people feel the same, that they're kind of scared, like whether it's something inside their control or outside of their control. A lot of people I know are just really concerned about what the future is going to bring. Me personally, I'm optimistic, but I still have my doubts, my worries, and like I said, I hope me wasting so much of my time or spending so much of my time playing video games rather than doing something else doesn't come back and bite me. Because there's so many things in the world right now that are just up in the air, really, for how they're going to turn out for everyone. Whether it's, I know a lot of people are concerned about war, AI, marriage, dating, all that stuff. And they have their reasons for it. And honestly, I kind of agree for a lot of it. But there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and it surely looks like they're going to. But I have my reasons to believe otherwise. But I also have a lot of reasons to believe why it would happen and why things would go bad. And I just wanted to talk about that for a second. I say, well, I don't think I said this yet, but when I was talking to my friend, he said he's dating this girl, and it's going really well, actually. They're both really great people. They match each other's personalities really well. And even then, he's still like thinking way ahead in the future, especially with a lot of the people our age, including his brother, are already engaged or married at like 19 or 20 years old, or a little older than us usually, but it's kind of scary to think about. And he's like, if I have kids one day, it's a friendly. He's like, if I have kids one day, I'm kind of worried for what I'm going to be bringing in them into, and like he's mixed on that. Obviously, he wants to have kids someday and start a family, and I hope just about everyone does. But like I said before, there's a lot of things to be concerned about in the world, and people are really just uncertain about the outcome of many things. But I told him, I said, honestly, might as well go for it. Things will go wrong, and I do have a feeling that in our lifetimes we'll face challenges that might even be worse than anything people have faced in the past several decades or even centuries. But I think honestly people are known to adapt. New solutions will rise, but new problems will too. And I think in the end, even if sadly, as the world is, it might not turn out the best for any of us, but I still think one day our kids or our kids' children, even if things happen to go bad in one way or another, then I think it's all going to work out. And if it doesn't, I still think it's worth the risk. Because I know there's a lot of people that really underestimate themselves, and they don't think they could be responsible for taking care of someone, or financially, emotionally, physically. But I really think that the best thing to do is to try to be better, and to eventually find someone to settle down with and raise kids with and teach them to be even better than we were. And I really just think that's the only way forward, and it really always has been throughout all of humanity. And that's the only way any problems can get fixed. Obviously, we can do better here and make an impact, but a lot of the time, I don't know, things are going to happen anyways. I know I didn't word that as well as I wanted to, but like I said, people adapt, people change. If you're worried about your future and you really want to do something, but you're concerned about the uncertainty of what's to come, I say try to prepare for what you can, but you can always be certain that something's going to go wrong, but also that there will be a way out for you. And yeah, that's not always true, but most of the time, if you believe in yourself and your ability and you prepare for it, you're going to be set. Trying to think of what else has been on my mind lately. I guess one of those things is just how lucky I've been. I do have, or at least I seem to have, a lot of bad luck in the smaller things in life, mostly that are out of my control. Although I always believe I bear some responsibility for any of the bad things that happen to me. But in the end, I'm honestly incredibly lucky. I have my job is some hard labor, but I have good hours. The people there are great, and I enjoy it. I really do. I have a good family. I have friends, and I've been pretty lucky to be raised well. And although I'm nowhere even close to perfect, I've I'm not too disappointed with myself. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are not nearly as lucky as me in their circumstances and their lifestyles, whatever it may be. And like even with my luck, I've had some rough patches in my life. So I can't even imagine what people who have way worse luck than me, considering that I'm actually really blessed when I reflect on my life. But those people have to be so strong to go through that. Because I know this is a sensitive topic, but I know a lot of times, like, if I knew it wasn't so bad and it would never end in any good result whatsoever, I honestly would have thought of taking my life. And I know a lot of people go through with that. And to think if someone as lucky as me could even consider wanting to do that, even though I know I'd never go through with it, because I know it's the worst possible thing you can do. Because even when you're suffering, you're still alive and you can still find joy in your life and you can still help bring joy to other people's lives. But like the people who've been through much worse than I have, and many who have sadly taken their own lives, it's really tragic. And I wish there was something I could do about it, but honestly, I can't blame them for thinking about it. I really can't. It's sad to say, but people just need to know that there's always a way out, and there's always something better to do. Something better to do with your life, your time, your effort. And going back to the future, there's always something you can do that will put you forward and prepare you for the future. Like I said, it's uncertain, but honestly, so is everything. Like I said, I love this game, and I'm honestly uncertain if I'll end up sticking with it or just gaming in general. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in your life, and there's a lot of things that are outside of your control. And maybe growing old, you're growing out of it, and that's not entirely a bad thing. We can always change, we can always adapt, and there's always something else we can do. I know sometimes you'll feel alone, lost, and like there's no escape from it, but like I said, that's not true. There's always something. Whether you're gonna find God, you're gonna hang out with your friends and family, talk to someone close, learn an instrument, play an instrument, draw, write, watch movies, anything. There's always something you can do to help deal with the pain. And you can always change your mindset to also deal with the pain better. I don't know if I said it before, but for high school and throughout college, I've been a runner. And it's something that is really hard to enjoy for a lot of people. And some people, quite frankly, would do anything to get out of it. But with repetition and with a good mindset, eventually you grow to enjoy it. And I really love running, I do. Racing can be brutal, although I still enjoy it, but just going out on a jog, a nice long run with some friends, or even by yourself. You can have music playing, but I prefer not to. And I just look around me at the scenery, and it can really be beautiful. And I've learned to enjoy it. And life is kind of the same way. It may seem terrible at first for some people. The experience of you've had, you may not enjoy it. You may feel lost and like you really want to do anything to get out of it. But like I said, at the end of the day, if you're if you have a good mindset about it and you really try and you do a lot of repetition with it, you can do a lot. And you can learn to enjoy it, and it's a really good way to deal with your pain. I know a lot of guys, especially a lot of guys that play games, have the same issue. Although I'm kind of fine with it now. I haven't even like talked to a girl in like 3 years or whatever, or flirted with a girl. or anything of that sort. And I'm kind of fine with it. It's really peaceful. I am concerned for my future because one day I do want to start a family. But, I trust that I'll find someone someday. And it may not happen, but, I just have to have faith and, like I said, try to change my mindset and do as much as I can to prepare for it and make myself a better person. But I know a lot of people that are just completely heartbroken. Like they get one bad relationship and it really messes them up. Or they can't deal with being single. And like I said, there's a way out of that pain. And if you, like I said, change your mindset and just spend some time by yourself and do some other task and just continue to repeat it. And you'll really escape that and not escape. I guess is a better word. Escape sounds like you're running from it, but in this, you kind of accept it. And you come to peace with it and you move on with your life. And there's a lot of power in that. It really changes who you are and it makes you into a better person. And since you're a better person and you're more at peace, you can help your friends, your family even more. And even more importantly, you could argue, you could help yourself. You don't need to spend so much time worrying about things and being anxious or angry or depressed. You could just be yourself and be at peace. Find something that is productive and makes you happy. And just try to be happy in as many situations as you can, even if they're tough. But I guess that's all I have to say for today. And I really wish the best for myself in the future and for anyone who decides to listen to this. But if you need any help, you can send me a message in the comments or anywhere, I guess, if you can find me. But I'll be glad to help out. Maybe if you want to play some Destiny 2 sometime and just talk, that could work too. But I hope in one way or another this helps someone. And if it doesn't, I hope I can look back on it and be proud of myself, I guess, and see how far I've come from this point. Anyways, thanks for listening, and I guess I'll see you next time. And if I don't, I hope you have a good life.